So with Sam this morning, and he's going to give us a brief description of the aircraft. What do you actually do on your normal job of work?
So I'm an aircraft engineer. I work for Bombardier. Look after Global Express and Challenger aircraft over at Biggin Hill. We do major servicing on them.
Oh, fantastic. Anyway, let's onwards and upwards. So you said it was a Skymaster, and it's a 4-engine aircraft. So what sort of power have we got in the engines then?
So each of these engines is 37.5 litre. They're 1,350 horsepower each at takeoff power, max rated.
Right. And it needs all the power to lift it off fully loaded, is it?
If it's fully loaded, 10 tonnes of cargo, another 8 tonnes of fuel, and 18 tonnes of aeroplane. Yeah, it needs all four going flat out to lift it, especially if you're hot and high.
So whereabouts are we at the moment with the aircraft then?
So we've taken it on about 2 years ago. Last 6 months we've really started making some progress on the thing. We've got power back on it. We've just got fuel running through the fuel system. We're ready to start running the engines.
Well, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
It'd be a great day. I might come back for that to see that happening. Anyway, let's have a wander around then,
okay.
Sam, and you tell us a little bit about it.
So what we do, we'll go up the steps and we'll have a look in the cockpit first, yeah?
Fantastic. I'm behind you. Look at them wheels there. That's just the front steering wheel, isn't it, I suppose?
Cool. It's pretty steep.
That's okay. We can do that. You have a head for rights there, Sam.
You're right with that?
Yeah.
Watch your head when you come in.
Oops, let's just adjust. Christ.
Okay, so this is the control cabin. The crew would normally be 5 guys.
Yep.
Okay, so the crew would normally be 5 guys. Captain on this side, co-pilot, radio operator here. Flight engineer sits in the middle.
Sits in the middle?
There's a seat that folds down. Navigator sits where you are.
Blimey.
Okay, so modern aircraft, the captain operates the radios because it's all automated.
Yep.
On this, because everything is so complicated, had a guy who was just employed to operate the radios. Okay, so this is a picture of the layout of the aircraft as it was.
Fantastic. So let's have a look at the controls then.
Okay,
so
plenty of levers and things to keep everything going.
there is, so there you go.
So the modern aircraft that I work on, you want to start the engines, you press a button and it pretty much winds itself up, it puts the fuel in, gets the igniters going at the right point.
Yep.
Everything happens automatically. With this, you press the button in the middle at the top,
Right.
which is up here, so engine 1, this is engine 1 start.
Yep.
That's the mashing button. To get the fuel mixture right, you've got another button there. The throttle is here.
Throttle is there.
That's the throttle.
Yep.
So these are actually a matching pair. So that's one, and that's one for the co-pilot. These are for the prop. Forward or
So
back,
is that to feather the props?
just to change the pitch.
Yes.
So it's a constant speed. The prop is operating at a constant speed all the time.
Yep.
Okay. At the front, we've got all the fuel controls. So right up the front there, that's all the fuel controls. The carb heat is in the middle. The blue lever's in the middle.
And what's that do?
That's because when you get high, the air is cold,
Yep.
and the fuel and air mixture will freeze up inside the carb.
Gotcha.
So by operating the carb heat, you shut a flap which takes air that's come off of the engine over the cylinders, and then goes into the carb. So
Gotcha.
it warms,
So it warms
it
it
up.
up before-
So it warms it up to stops the carbs from icing up.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And you say this is the captain's seat over here, is that the main?
This is the co-pilot.
That's the co-pilot.
This is the captain on the right.
That's the captain
on the left,
right.
sorry.
And the big wheel on top, what's that all about then?
That's rudder trim.
Rudder trim.
So you have a trim tab on the rudder.
Yep.
If you've got to fly along, and rather than sitting there with left leg really heavy all the time, you can move the trim tab, and that will change change the direction, so it's preload. There's also aileron tab, so if it's flying one wing low, this wheel here.
So you can adjust.
So yeah, to make it so it flies straight and level all the time.
They definitely flew with luck on their side in those days, didn't they?
This is all hard work, but like I said, on a modern aircraft, this is all digital. It's done with a little button on the top of the stick.
Computer.
Yeah, everything with this aircraft, it's all fly-by-wire.
Yeah.
Modern aircraft, if it's fly-by-wire, it's all a digital system. You press a button and something happens miles away, and it's all just electrical impulses. This is fly-by-wire. There's steel cables run from each one of these levers to the control it's going to operate. So there's a cable that runs from this, from the throttle lever here, down through the pedestal, under the floor, right back down through the aircraft till it reaches the wings. So that's 2 big panels in the middle there.
God, yes.
And then turns out.
That's a long aircraft. Now you look down it, isn't it? From the outside, it looks quite small.
Quite stumpy, yeah. So all the other levers we've got down here. So you've got the mixture on the left there.
Yep.
On the right, supercharger. So it's a 2-speed supercharger. So that you get so takeoff power, full boost. So it's a geared supercharger. Then we've got flap control, the landing gear controls, the cowling flaps. So and this is all hydraulically operated.
Yeah. So with hydraulics now, not wires no more. We're back to hydraulics.
But the hydraulics are all manually controlled. So once again, you've got a hydraulic pump on 3 of the engines.
Yeah.
You've got a control, but that is also linked with a cable that runs back to, so like the cowling flaps, each engine has a cowling flaps. There's little flaps that open to cook. If the engine's getting hot, you can open the cowl flaps. There's a hydraulic jack on that, but the control for it is joined cable to here, back down underneath the floor and out to the engine again.
Amazing, really amazing.
We'll have a look at the control cables a bit later on.
Yeah,
cool.
Just having a quick look around in here. It's amazing that, you know, because these used to fly literally wrecked, didn't they? You know, they was shot at and all sorts, and it's a bit like an old tractor to me. Except for this one comes off the ground. I'm a bit terra firma, me. Right, onwards and upwards then, Sam.
Cool. We'll go and have a look at that.
If you don't mind. So
these are the radio racks.
Yep.
So that's the radio racks, and this is why you needed an extra guy to run the radios, because there was about 6 or 7 systems. When you look at the outside of the aircraft, it's covered in aerials.
Yeah.
And there's about 6 or 7 systems, so it's too much for the pilots to be operating the aircraft, monitoring the engines and monitoring the radios. Because in the modern aircraft, it's all digital. It's all on a screen in front of them. On those days, there's a control box back here. There's boxes marked all over the place.
Yeah.
So
the radio operator sat where we said earlier.
Yeah.
Yep, which is there.
Just behind the captain.
And all his equipment.
Well, he's got control boxes in front of him on a table.
Yeah.
But the actual boxes that he's controlling are these boxes here.
Oh, magic.
Okay.
And this is the bedding up.
So this is the crew rest area. You could fly the duration of this aircraft. It will fly for 18 hours at a time.
Really?
All right. So if you take off from the States and you're going to fly out into the middle of the Pacific, you're going to be flying for a long time. It's very tiring.
Yeah.
So you'll carry 2 crews.
Oh right, yeah, of course it makes sense. Yeah, of course it does.
For the Berlin airlift, they took 2 Navy squadrons which were based down in the Pacific, and they flew from the Pacific out to the States and then back across the pond. It took them a day and a half.
And did they have to have extra fuel tanks for that then, did they?
No, that was standard. So that's why they went to the States first. So you could get from the Pacific, from Guam, which is right in the middle of the Pacific. Yep. You can get from there to the States in 1 hop. So that's 1 hop, refueling that, and then straight over the Atlantic, straight over the middle. So that's why they had the 2 crews, and it was a day and a half.
Amazing, isn't it? That is amazing.
Proper effort. Yeah.
And the cargo area is behind us, I see.
Yeah. We'll just show you behind this door here.
The lavatory.
So in the Air Force, we have a saying, we're going to go to the can. And this is why we go to the can. Because that's literally what it is, a can.
A can on the floor.
That's the can on the floor.
Oh my God. But you got to have it if you're
up there for 18 hours at a time,
yeah,
you're going to need a can.
Yeah, the can. I love it. Nice one, Sam.
Cool.
Lavatory. Fantastic. And the mirrors obviously therefore, because Americans like to tie themselves up, don't they?
What stands here is a proper washroom, and it's a 1950s. It's a 1950s Art Deco. I've got a drawing for it, and it's beautiful. If we can get it, we're going to recreate it. But it's a 1950s Art Deco washroom that goes in.
Well, I have a lot of American viewers anyway, so perhaps they can come up with something like that then.
If anyone's got any C-54 Skymaster bits hanging around, this would be an ideal home for it. The plan with this is to restore it back to how it was in 1954.
That's the year of the tractor, 1954.
Yeah.
So it's perfect, isn't it?
It'll tie right back in.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I can see they're not proper seats from the era.
No, those are often more modern aircraft.
Yeah.
But that's what, when it flew over from the States, that's what they used. So they bolted those seats to the floor, so they carried some extra crew with them, and they flew it over.
Oh,
okay.
And these are more.
These are more like the period seats. These aren't genuine Skymaster seats or C-54 seats, but these are more like the sort of thing that we're going for.
Okay.
So it's quite long.
I can see that.
Okay. The cargo capacity. So normally you haven't got any seats in here at all.
No, I can see
the cargo
strapping on the floor.
The cargo capacity is 10 tons. You load that in 100-weight sacks, which is about 50 kilograms. All right. So the normal weight that we can pick up these days, because we're all lightweights, is 25 kilograms. They would do it as a two-man lift, but I've seen pictures of guys lifting these 100-weight sacks by themselves. Right?
Yeah.
Two guys, one at each end. 10 tons is 363 bags. They will load it in 10 minutes. The record to unload at the other end is about 9.5 minutes. Yeah.
That's some going, is it? That was proper men in those days, wasn't it?
Men, but these are guys that have fought a war for 6 years. So it's nearly all the load and unload in the airlift is nearly all done by German civilians.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of the German civilians, ex-prisoners of war.
Yep.
Yeah. So they've been starved. They were on a starvation diet. You'd look at it now, when we're all worried about carers and things, and you look at what they're eating, and they think, how can you even survive on that? You know, that's why you see a picture of these guys, they're all as skinny as rakes. You know, because they massive energy burn all the time. Yeah, and on a very, very low protein diet.
Wow, that's fantastic. Cool. Moving down. I see you've got the, what is it? Is this how it normally is, or is there a sort of like a covering for it?
There would normally have been, there's two different, when it's first built, this is how it's built. So this is built in 1943. The story behind this is it was built at the Douglas factory in Chicago. At the time, most of the guys who would have been working for Douglas have left because there was a war on. So the people that actually built it were women.
Oh.
Famously known as Rosie the Riveter. You look at this, and so that's a great part of the story is that it's built by ladies as well as guys.
Oh, fantastic.
Cool.
I see you've got the American flags up all over the place, which is obviously dedicated to the American aircraft.
We are a little bit of America. This aircraft is on the American register.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's still current American registry. When we fly it, we'll be flying under the FAA rules. We won't be flying it under the UK CAA rules. We'll be flying this as an American aircraft.
Oh my life.
So you have now entered America.
Fantastic. We see you've got stretchers on the side. Obviously they was there for putting wounded on and that sort of thing, was it?
So part of the role, you fly into a war zone,
yeah,
carrying lots of blood, 10 tons of blood, ammunition, stuff that's needed in a hurry. So you can shift a tank, or you can shift a jeep, or you can shift a lot of stuff by ships, but it takes a long time to get anywhere.
Yeah.
If you want stuff in a hurry, you fly it in. So we'll shift 10 tons of stuff in, ammunition, blood, medical supplies, that sort of thing. You'll fly in, unload the aircraft, reconfigure it with stretchers, and you'll fly 26 guys out on stretchers. So it'll fly out 26 stretcher cases.
My life. That is something else.
Just want to show you the flying controls underneath.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Find the right bit of floor.
Let's just.
So these are all the
literally half by wire, aren't they?
These are some of the cables. So these are cables that are going back to the flying controls. So those are going back to the tailplane.
So are they controlling the flaps?
These ones. No, these ones are controlling all the tail feathers. So like the elevator, the rudder, and the trim tabs for the elevator and rudder. So this is only a few of the cables. We'll have a look in the undercarriage bay a little bit later on, and we'll show you all the cables in there.
Fantastic. That's something else, isn't it? Thank you, Sam.
Fly-by-wire.
Fly-by-wire.
Fly-by-wire 1940s style. Cool.
Fantastic. Moving on. And what have we got here? This is
an aileron. So
really?
So the ailerons are used to control the aircraft in roll. So there's one on either wing.
Yeah.
You move the stick to the left. The left aileron comes up, the right aileron goes down, and the aircraft will move to the left.
Tilt either way.
Tilts.
Fantastic.
Right, yeah.
And why is this offered? Is it obviously it's the skin?
These are unusually for an aircraft of this sort of size and age. These are fabric covered. And the fabric covering on this was shot.
Yeah.
So we pulled the covering off, and we're going to have to recover these.
So what are you going to recover them in? Is it a canvas or something? Or?
It's like a canvas. It's a modern equivalent to a canvas.
Yeah.
Canvas material.
Okay.
These are going to cost something like £1,500 worth of material.
So in the link below, what I'll do in the description below, I'll put your link. So if anyone wants to donate to your cause, they could, have you got a Just Giving page or something, have you?
Got on our website, and it describes on there what we've got going on with fundraising and that sort.
Fantastic. So if I put your website in the description below,
yeah, that would be absolutely marvellous.
and anyone who feels they want to, they can donate whatever they want, really.
Yeah.
You know, that's fantastic, because it is such a good cause. That's why, you know, I've lent you the tractor. So you know,
that's
anyway,
brilliant. Cool.
This is the cargo door, I presume.
Yep.
Okay. So it slides in and out. Oh.
So the door will open.
Yep, go on.
So we've got a double-sized door.
Yep.
With this particular marker Skymaster, you get a ramp. So the ramp will fold out, and two ramps going down to the floor. You can load a jeep up through this hole here. We've got a winch here. So we've got the big cargo winch here. This will lift up to 2 tons. So
is that original?
This is original. So if you're going to pick up, rather than if you haven't got a forklift or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me come the other side, because the sun's playing havoc with my. That's better. I can see it now.
Right. Cool. So this swings out. There's pulleys there. Another pulley on the back. And you put an electric winch on the floor.
Oh,
there's an electric winch on the floor, drops down, and you pick up a pallet full of ammunition or something like that, 1,500 kilograms, ton and a half. Pick that up on the winch. I'm not really sure how you get the ton and a half up the front.
Yeah.
Because we haven't got into that yet.
You've not got the actual rollers in the floor, right?
There is no rollers.
No.
On a modern aircraft, you would have a cargo handling system, which is basically big rollers bolted to the floor.
Yeah.
There isn't anything.
But you've got tie downs, I see.
There's tie downs. You can get up to 6 Allison engines in here, which is a Merlin. Our engines, the Pratt & Whitney 2000. You can get 8 of those in here. So you'd have a mixed cargo load. You know, you've got blood, you've got spare engines.
Okay, I see a nice flag. Shall we And this is what is this flag? This is the United States Air Force. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, it's nice to see you're keeping the history alive as well, isn't it? Really.
This flag was sent over to us by the Blue Angels, which is the American Navy display team.
Yeah.
They're actually taking on a Hercules, which is an XRF Hercules.
Yeah.
It's being refurbished for them up at Marshalls of Cambridge. We're in conversation with a couple of guys who are working up there. They're going to come down. When the Angels started, their support aircraft was a C-54 Skymaster. So they're really interested to come down here and get involved with looking at this aircraft.
Fantastic. Right, shall we have a move outside? It's a bit warm up here, isn't it, today?
No, it's just fairly cool still.
Is it?
They'll drip.
I see you got the donation bucket there, so if anyone wants to come along, I see you got some nice pictures there.
So this is Rosie the Riveter. So these ladies here are building the aircraft at Chicago.
Yep.
So these are the guys loading up. This was loading up to go out to Korea. And then we've got the girls in Chicago doing some testing on the aircraft.
Fantastic. This is where I fall over. And these controls up here.
So this is oxygen. So this is the oxygen feed for the patients, for the casualties. So if you're on a stretcher, got oxygen feed.
Because plug it straight in there.
Yeah. So these are litter strap is obviously a stretcher. So the straps for the stretchers are stored in the strap. So it's a real quick operation to convert from the cargo going in.
Yeah.
To taking the casualties back again. Very quick turnaround, about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Absolutely amazing. Those definitely heroes, the people that used to of that era, wasn't they?
These are very much unsung heroes. Because
Yes.
The guys shifting the cargoes and things like that, they're not. Everybody knows
not on the newsreel, are they? They're not on the newsreel.
Everybody knows about Spitfires and Mustangs and Lancasters and all the aircraft that are carrying the fight to the enemy.
Yeah.
But without the Skymaster, the Dakotas, the freight haulers, they're going nowhere.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the Germans didn't. They ran out of fuel at one stage in the desert and one place another.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get to the front of the aircraft. Oh. See if I can get a fantastic now then. One-handed. You're getting down there now. Health and safety is a bit limited here, isn't it?
We've got the safest elves in the world.
Yeah.
You've got this screw that you're risk aware. I live in a health and safety environment where if you walk into something, they're trying to wrap people in cotton wool all the time. With this, it's a risky environment, and the guys who are working on it know it's a risky environment. And funnily enough, we haven't had any accidents.
Don't mention that.
Accidents.
Anyway.
Accidents at work all over.
Look at the beautiful engines on it. So they're a radial engine, are they?
Big radial engine, 14-cylinder radial engine.
So
then we talk about flying controls. So these are the controls for the engines. The ones that are running over the top of the nacelle, running backwards, running forward, sorry. So it's all coming out the fuselage. So that's the controls for number 3 and number 4 engines.
Yeah.
Where it turns through 90 degrees and starts heading forwards, that's the controls for number 3.
Is that a fuel tank up there or something?
No, that's an oil tank.
That's an oil tank for the engines.
80 for that engine.
For that only engine.
So this is 18 gallons, and that's 18 gallons just for number 3 engine. There's 18 gallons in number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. In the cabin, underneath the bunks, there's a 54-gallon tank. The 54-gallon tank. The co-pilot has a gauge in front of him, tells him what the oil quantity is on each engine.
Yeah.
If one gets a bit low, he can top it up as they're flying. So we're expecting to lose a lot of oil at a time.
And we got the controls for the landing gear, I see.
Yeah.
They're
So the
on the
undercarriage
wire as well. Undercarriage, sorry.
So the undercarriage is hydraulically operated.
Yep.
Yeah. The control cables are for my switch, so it all works mechanically. It's all interconnected mechanically.
Oh, they're amazing, them cables, aren't they? Really. Let's see what I can get.
So this is fly-by-wire 1940 stuff.
Right. And the landing gear, obviously. What's the wingspan on something like this thing?
117 feet.
117 feet.
117 feet, 111 feet long, 37 feet high.
God. Fantastic shape, isn't it? They definitely built properly.
And the finish on this will end up, we're going back to a polished aluminium finish.
And it will be polished aluminium.
So polished aluminium.
Would it not be green or, you know, like
They could be,
camouflage
it's
green?
all different shades.
Really?
This one, as a Navy aircraft running in and out of the Pacific, this was in the scheme. This was in 1940, 1950 was polished aluminium. So that's what we're going back to in the short term.
Are these any aerials underneath them?
These are that's one of the aerials.
Yeah, that's BBC too.
Don't,
I'll delete that, I think.
There's all different kinds of aerials, so there's a lot of aerials because it's a Marine Corps aircraft as well. So there's lots of aerials to talk to the Marines on the ground.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So there's a trailing aerial that comes out here.
Behind the steering wheel.
This is a trailing aerial here. It runs back from here. It trails 350 feet behind the aircraft.
What? Just
Just
dangling?
a trailing aerial.
No.
And I can't remember what that's for. It's It's a low frequency radio.
And the two, there's a ring and a big knob. What are
So
these
these
for?
are radio direction.
Radio
So
direction.
one's a compass, and one's an altimeter.
Fantastic. And so let's go down to the tower, shall we? I see you've got panels off it.
Yeah.
Why have we got panels off?
So this is just to do inspections inside. We've got some work to do inside.
And what, they screwed in then, are they? Or so,
Held on with screws, yeah.
And these all removable in the field.
Yeah.
That flap there is something else, isn't it? That's like an aircraft on its own, just that flap, isn't it, really?
Someone came into the aircraft the other day. They looked at the aileron and said, "What's this wing off of?" And this isn't a wing. This is an aileron. So the aileron is a little bit that sticks out on the side of the wing.
Yeah.
Which is just behind you. Stuff on the. So that's where.
Oh, right. That's the inside.
That's where the aileron comes from.
Oh, I see. That's the one you've got repairing at the moment. Strange that this half is aluminium.
Yeah.
Or is aluminium?
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
Yeah, aluminum. Yeah.
And this is fabric. That is bizarre.
Yeah.
That's a lovely picture of the aircraft in its United States style, isn't it, really? And aerials up on top, I see.
Yeah, those are two more radio aerials.
And we're down to the tail area. And spares department.
So in here we're saying about the engine. Don't know what your light's going to be like.
Let's have it. Let's try. See if they come out the sun. It's quite good. Right, moving inside. And this is one you got off and in process of repairing, is it?
This was one. Let's just lift that off there. Try. Okay. So this is an engine that was inside the cabin when we first took it over.
No.
Okay. So the story of the aircraft is there were two of these. They were brought over to make a film about the Berlin airlift by Mr. Spielberg. They flew over. When they got to Greenland, this engine, which was fitted to the second aircraft, was running a bit hot. They had a spare engine, which was being carried by this aircraft.
Yeah.
And they swapped them over. So it's a Wright Cyclone P2000. It's a 14-cylinder radial engine, 37.5 litres. So each cylinder is about 1100 cc. Right.
That's
It
amazing.
produces a takeoff power, max rated takeoff power is about 1,350 horsepower.
That's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
It's an awesome bit of gear.
It's an awesome bit of gear, isn't it? And historically, it's something to keep, isn't it? Oops. Right. And we're on the floor. What have we got on the floor?
Some spares.
Just
So at the moment today we're in the process of having a bit of a tidy up, get it sorted out again.
yeah. But I suppose because you're a charity, really, I mean, it's, you know, it's storing all your spares, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, you need containers, and perhaps the public of this video will donate and help out. I mean, if anyone sees anything, any containers they want to donate to the charity, the link will be in the description below. And is that the airplane number there, Sam? 56498?
56498 is the number it had when it was in the Navy and the Marines. So
Yep.
that's known as the BAL number. It was bought by the American Air Force, or the Army Air Force as it was then, immediately transferred to the Navy, which is where it got the 56498 number.
Yep.
In the books, it's known as 75512, which is its American Air Force number. Then it becomes 56498, and then it's on the American register N44914, which is just underneath the tailplane.
Yep, I can see that.
N44914, and that's its number on the American Civil Register at the moment, and so that's still an active registration.
Fantastic. Is that the obviously is it a rubbing strip? You haven't got a wheel on these, no?
No, that's a tail bumper. So if you land, when you land,
Yep.
if you're a bit nose high, it'll rub.
Yeah.
If
Sacrificial then, really, isn't it?
But this is still basically a Dakota, so it's built as a tape driver. This is one of the first commercial aircraft to run with a tricycle undercarriage. This is belts and braces. If the nose undercarriage fails,
Yeah.
the operating procedure is to move all the passengers to the back,
Yeah.
to land very nose high and keep the passengers at the back, get as much cargo at the back, and you can actually land on that and it will sit there with the nose off the ground. So rather than wreck the nose, dragging the nose down the runway, you drag the tail down the runway instead.
Oh my life, that was definitely special. A wingspan at the on the rear,
At 40 feet.
40 feet. A colossal aircraft. I mean, you know, looking at them, you'd say it was a modern. If it weren't for the propellers on the front, you'd say it was a modern jet, really, wouldn't it?
It's a modern aircraft. This is the start of any modern airline. A tricycle undercarriage, all the controls, the flaps, everything that's operated, very, very advanced for its day.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate that, Sam. You're
right.
giving me
My
all
pleasure.
your information, and like I say, we'll have the link below. So if anyone wants to donate anything, and thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it. Just to give us your organisation's called,
Save the Skymaster,
and you're based at,
North Weald in London.
and that's an actual World War II airfield.
This was a Battle of Britain airfield, so 80 years on, and there's still aircraft operating from it.
Thanks so much, then. Well, there you go. A nice walk round a nice aircraft with Sam. It's a good cause. I mean, this is why I donated my tractor tools to good cause, and I think anyone out there would like to give, even if it's just a couple of pounds, just to help the cause, just to get this airplane flying. It's our history, and the guys want to get it back into the service to commemorate, that's easy for me to say, commemorate the Berlin airlift. So thanks a lot for coming along. If you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I think the subscription button is down on the left hand side here. As I say, it really is a good cause. So thanks for coming along with me journeys again. The old Fergie Tractor is going to do a good job here. I will bring you back and we'll see the aircraft being towed right. Thanks a lot. Cheerio.